Sometimes some things in life just catch your eye, grab your attention. It's very interesting, very intriguing. And automatically the emotions are, I want to know more. I want to learn more. I want to see more of this. It's like a light bulb that goes off in your head. It just catches your attention. This thing might catch your attention, but the next bloke over doesn't even notice it, doesn't even care. I remember the first time I heard this Bulgarian method. Immediately I was like, hold on a minute. Every day? They do this every day, 3 times a day? It was as if somebody took icy cold water and dumped it over my head. Originally, right? So this is Ivan back in the day where I thought you needed 7 days to rest a muscle. And now I hear something this outlandish, this crazy. These guys are not even getting 7 hours of rest in between sessions. Not even that. Whatever. Divide 24 by 3. Whatever the hell that is. It's not even that. Like you sleep for 8 hours. So it's 16 hours. Divide 16 by 3. What are you left with? Not many hours to recover. So we've gone from a whole freaking week full of hours of recovery to not even 5 hours. 6 hours. It was like icy cold water being dumped on top of my head. Obviously, or immediately, I'm intrigued, I'm interested. What the hell is going on here? Ivan Abajev came up with this idea, and his main goal was to put medals on the table for Bulgaria and to basically outperform Russians. And so his method was, Pele kicks the ball every day. Why don't we weightlift every single day and get better at exactly what we need to get better? None of this fluff. Do exactly what we need to do every single day. Practice it like a skill. Pavel Tsatsouline says, strength is a skill. So I've read that book right now, and it's kind of like there's a few people now saying the same stuff. So we take this squat every day idea, we pluck it out of a system, the Bulgarian system, and we take one little ingredient and we try to make a dish out of something that we are missing 50 other ingredients. One of the many ingredients, one of the biggest ingredients, is the fact that we can't replicate Bulgaria, that time, those people, that culture, that attitude. We can't replicate that. So nobody can do the Bulgarian, right? Train 8 hours a day. No one's going to do that. No one can do that. I sometimes wish I could do that so I can really feel what it's like. But then the next thought is maybe be careful what you wish for, because you'll break your bones and you'll be snapped up. Even Abajev is not sitting in the room either when I'm training, so it's not really Bulgarian, even if I was to train 8 hours a day. But one of the thoughts that occurred to me today was, we took squat every day out of a system and we're trying to make it work. This idea of me identifying my back being a weakness in my squat, and if I address that weakness, my squat will improve because I've identified the back is weak. So deadlifting, let's do some more deadlifting. But how does somebody's back get weak when they're squatting every single day? Do you think Abajev's athletes had the same symptoms? If you squat a lot high bar, or even what they did, front squat, you're going to have a really weak back, and that's going to limit you in your performance. Well, what occurred to me today was that these people didn't just do squat every day. They did everything every day. Clean and jerk, its variations. Snatch, its variations. So they did, let's just say, 2 to or 3 to 1, pulling versus pushing in terms of the legs. So I've taken the squat portion of that mentality and I haven't addressed the pulling. And so I've come up with a different set of symptoms because I'm not really following what Ivan Abajev actually set out and wrote in his ideas, right? He didn't say just squat every day and nothing else. They did everything else. So today I'm going to the gym and I'm like, well, maybe a large part of their success is the fact that they freaking pulled every day. Obviously, they didn't pull the slow lifts like the deadlift. They did a lot of quick lifting, snatching and clean and jerking. Regardless of that, they were pulling a lot more than they were squatting. They were squatting every single day, but they were also pulling every single day and probably higher volumes. So today, I'm driving to the gym and I'm like, I'm going to pull every day as well. I can't just take the pushing aspect. I need to do the pulling, even double the pulling, to make the pushing worthwhile and effective. So this is where this idea came from, and this is where the title for this video comes from: Deadlift Every Day. You cannot take one ingredient from a dish and make that dish. You need all of the ingredients. Obviously, I'm not training 8 hours a day. Obviously, I'm not Bulgarian. I'm not in the communist system. I don't have the attitude and the difficulties of those people that lived in that country at that time. Some ingredients you can leave off, others you must not. When it comes to the programming aspect, if you're going to take one thing, you need to take another in equal quantities or percentages. So if you take the squat, you must take the clean and jerk and the snatch and its variations. Maybe don't do those lifts, but you need to incorporate some pulling. What I've done, maybe foolishly, and now I've kind of done a full 360, and I always learn, this whole thing is about, this whole journey is about me learning and maybe me just explaining my thoughts as I go along. I've taken 1 out of 3 ingredients which are required to make this dish. I've taken the squatting and I left the other 2 pulling exercises. Now, I don't know, as I'm sitting here, to tell you exactly what the percentage is, what the ratios are in the squat every day under Abadjev, what the ratio was or would have been pulling to pushing. Looking from outside in and having a rough estimate, I think there is more pulling than there is pushing. Now I'm saying pushing and I'm calling pushing, I'm synonymously using that for squatting, right? So a push is a squat. A squat is a push. All the pulling stuff, snatch, clean and jerk, and all the other variations that do power snatch, power clean, all that sort of stuff, those are all pulling exercises, which means that they're hitting predominantly the posterior chain, glutes, hamstrings, adductors, lower back, upper back, all that sort of stuff. So this is what led me to come in today and do another deadlift session. Now, I was not sure what to do with today. All I know was that I don't feel as bad as I felt the first time I did the deadlift. That next day I was wrecked. Today already I feel a lot better. So there's no incredible DOMs. I feel just like I felt yesterday. And yesterday I did the same freaking workout I did that caused me all the trouble 3-4 days ago now. So I think frequency is a must in a program that calls for a lot of frequency for pushing. I don't think it's sufficient enough to have one monster pulling session a week and then have every single day maximum pushing sessions. That's not a balanced equation. Something is missing. Hip pain comes in, imbalances come in, anterior pelvic tilt comes in. I don't have the ability to do ground weights. I get stuck halfway in the squat because it's not a balanced equation. I need to balance my equation. And the other side of that equation is pulling. Today I decided to do 5 sets, 5 singles at 180 kilos, which is around 70% for me, being 250 being my maximum deadlift. So the thinking right now is that I want to deadlift every day along with squatting every day. Now, these 2 things are like having like 2 superstar athletes in one team who require completely different strategies to play. Let's say, I want to use a basketball analogy. One guy's the Steph Curry. He wants run and gun, fluid motion, 5-out offense, lots of motion, lots of running. And the other guy is Shaq, who needs, give me the ball in the paint and space out so I can play. Maybe those 2 athletes could actually coexist in one team, now that I think about it, because it would be an inside out, really good. But I'm just trying to make an analogy, which basically I'm trying to say is the deadlift and the squat in an everyday fashion, everyday program. It's very difficult to mesh those 2 movements together because they're both very, very dominant and both used similar, basically the same musculature to a high degree, and doing one impacts the other. But now that I'm sitting here thinking about what Ivan Abadjev did and how he set up his system, it's clear to me that I've taken what I liked and left out what I didn't like. And so maybe that's a foolish thing. When I heard about squat every day, it grabbed my eye. I couldn't believe it, that this was actually possible. And I took out what I wanted. What I should have done is basically taken everything that he had on the program. Obviously, I can't take the social aspect and all the stuff that I mentioned, but take the whole program that he did for his athletes and water that sucker down all the way down to like 10 to 20% or 30%. Just do one session a day. That would have been an appropriate approach rather than taking the program and just picking out one exercise and doing that all the time. Because maybe I'm not clever enough to understand the value of all the other things that they did. Is it by chance that he left all the other exercises in? No. I think he knew what he was doing, obviously. One of the greatest coaches in the sport, one of the most awarded coaches in the sport, to my knowledge. And I'm not a historian of the sport or anything like that. I'm just very much looking from outside in and observing, what was going on at that time. I'm going to deadlift every day. What that's going to look like, I have no idea. I kind of have the same approach as the squat every day when I first started it. What it morphed to now, I had no idea what it was going to become back then. And I've had many different stages, many different blocks, experimenting many different approaches. So for now, I'm going to try and hit somewhat 70% or thereabouts singles for 5 singles, 5, 10 singles every single day. And then occasionally I will have a session where I push closer to my 1 rep max and then have back off sets with 5s and things of that nature. That is my approach. That is my thinking at the moment. It's likely to change, but the realization today has been Ivan Abadjev's Squat Everyday program wasn't just squatting. It wasn't a minimalist, as I thought, completely minimalistic idea. There was a whole lot of balancing of the equation. I need to balance my equation. Peace out. Catch you in the next one.